People look at you, Jack, as somebody who's made it. You figured it out, and they look up to that. What advice would you offer to other people who want to create an app or want to get involved in technology and start their own business?
Well, first, never feel like you've made it. You have to constantly innovate. You have to constantly push yourself. You have to constantly raise the bar. I learn something new every single day, and if we stop that, we would just build a small, interesting business, but we want to build something that really speaks to the world. I think the biggest thing to do, the hardest thing to do is start. You have all these ideas, and everyone has an idea, but it's really about executing the idea and building the idea and attracting other people to help you work on the idea. That is the biggest challenge. But the way to begin is to get the idea out of your head, draw it out, talk about it, program it if you're a programmer, or make it if you're building something.
Is there a first mover advantage in general in technology?
I think there is, but I mean, you see with any technology that there is always room for disruption, even with the supposed first movers of 5 years ago, right? So like, MySpace, as an example, was a first mover in many regards, and then Facebook came in and was another first mover. But so it's a question of like the features and the particular disruption that they're going after. So I think at the end of the day, you can't rely on being a first mover. You can't rely on being first. You just have to rely on constantly bettering yourself and constantly, staying ahead of the game.
Which thing have you done along the way that you consider to be the biggest mistake that if you could go back and change, you would do differently?
Well, for Twitter, it was a lack of focus on the data, on the numbers, on what the system was doing, on what the users were doing. We didn't have strong internal dashboards of what the system or the actual business was doing. So we were speculating a lot on what was happening, and it caused a lot of downtime in the early days. And the speculation creates all this contention and conflict and all these debates, when if you can just look at the data, you can see, oh, that's what's happening, so we obviously need to go this way. So for Square, the first thing that I wrote was an admin dashboard that we could see everything that's happening in the business.
So you solved that problem. Were there any mistakes that you made with Square that if you could change?
No mistakes.
Not one mistake.
Not one mistake.